It's me, Vera, here to remind you that this is an adult podcast. That means we're going to deal with tough topics. Take a break if you need it, and be kind to yourself, because we sure won't be.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Crack Crown Season 2 of Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition podcast. As always, I am your storyteller, Mike Martin, today joined by two of my wonderful players, Mr. Mark Meir and Jason Miller. Hello, boys.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. We're going to be diving right in as we've kind of left the two of you off on somewhat different cliffhangers. Before we do, though, your typical, hey, thank you for supporting us. If you guys are listeners, whether old or new, and just want to kind of support the show in your own way, sharing it, leaving a review on whatever podcast app you're listening on also is a huge way to kind of just support the show. It goes a long way to kind of bumping us up in that painful algorithm. If you want to go above and beyond, you can head over to patreon.com/podbynight, where you can get a bunch of different tiers and little bonuses for supporting us directly and all the stuff we do here over at Pod by Night. And if you just want to join our community, there is a Discord. Link will be in the description below of wherever you're listening, that you can just jump into and talk to a community of almost 1,000 people who theorize and talk about all of our shows, from our mini series up to the main one like Crackground. All right, let's go ahead and set the scene then, rein things in, and see what our two kindred are up to. Last we left Max from this little suburban house down the street after having a conversation with somebody who was not invited to Sam's place. We kind of saw you and Adelaide walk off, and as your focus faded, we saw some rats scurry and follow behind. Nothing that the two of you noticed. And as you walked away from that home, where would Max be heading? You know, Vera and Duke and the majority of the coterie, if not all of them, are over at the Blackstone Hotel, the new hotel that has been acquired after years of work and preparation by Duke. You know that the coterie went there to check to make sure it wasn't a trap set up by the Camarilla, Prince Jackson, and everything seemed to be on the clear, as Vera did come back for the rest of them, leaving you alone. But you could head back to Lyle's place if you wanted to pontificate on your own, or you could head to the hotel. I'm curious where Max would head to.
The temporary digs is where Max and Adelaide was staying, but, by this point, Max is probably a little tired of cooling his heels. And if there's enough time left in the night, he might want to head to the hotel just to hook up with everybody else, especially given what he's just learned. So he might actually say something to Adelaide like, "Okay, kid, let's go see what all the fuss is about, huh?"
She looks to you and with a raised eyebrow and says, "What fuss? What do you mean? Is somebody in trouble?"
Nah, I'm talking about the new pad. A hotel.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, forgot about that, actually. I kind of just assumed we'd have like a little hole in the wall like we've always had.
Nah, I'm told we're going to be staying in style. They even say this place has bathrobes, and I need to replace mine, so,
She smiles and gives a light giggle as she says, "Okay, well, that sounds really nice. It's not a trap?"
Not as far as I know. But, keep your head on a swivel. Never pays to get too complacent, right?
She nods and says, "Right," and that little lightheartedness almost fades away instantly, replaced by a stoic, hardened look, ready for whatever might be coming her way.
I think on the way to the hotel, Max is probably going to take care of that errand that he'd logged a little while ago, which was replacing the flak jacket that got shredded by his encounter with the Lycan.
Can you make me you have Streetwise, yeah, right? You have a bunch of Streetwise?
I do, and I believe I've got specialization in it.
Yeah. So if you make me a Wits Streetwise with the specialization added on roll, please.
And difficulty on this will be?
For this, it'll just be a 2. You roll a 4. You are able to, and with very little effort, it is Chicago after all, to replace the flak jacket. You find a nearby army surplus store and are able to just swing in, purchase one, quote unquote, aka step inside, grab one and leave without any eyes seeing you as you remain invisible and things are after clothing. So yes, you're able to grab one and replace it. What do you do with the other one? Do you actually just like leave it in a dumpster nearby or something, or do you keep it?
Well, waste not, want not, right? And it's a nice conversation piece. The time that freaking werewolf took a chunk out of me.
I mean, yeah, it's a trophy and a mark of your survival against the odds in that night. So the two of you leave with a brand new flak jacket in tow, and you make your way over to the Blackstone Hotel. And the Chicago night on this night is chill, despite the city's usual summer bravado. You see street lamps are casting an orange and amber glow on bustling avenues, and as you turn onto what is Michigan Avenue, the buildings around you seem to recede into a respectful hush. Here you noticed some difference amongst every other place you've stayed. Instead of a street that's torn with garbage, or a back alley, or a basement in some abandoned building, you're greeted with a clean street with no potholes, well taken care of buildings, and people with affluence and plenty of money to spare driving around. It is a step out of the norm that has been what you've been staying in for now 5 years with Vera at the very least, maybe more, and more just in general as you've lived since your embrace.
I think Max will be softly humming the Jeffersons theme. I doubt Adelaide is old enough to get it, but...
I was going to say Adelaide would not recognize it at all. You just think you're humming a tune. As you turn the corner, continue walking down toward the Blackstone. Here, amidst the towering steel and glass giants, there stands the hotel, almost like a timeless sentinel of a bygone era. It's a facade, a majestic blend of limestone and brick, gleaming under soft moonlight. Ornate balconies and intricate carvings seem to hold secrets in the shadows, and wrought iron lanterns adorned with the hotel's iconic crest cast a warm welcome to the entrance. A lone doorman, impeccably dressed in a top hat and crisp livery, stands stoic under the grand porte cochere. This is your new home. Blackstone Hotel, rich in history. You have been around. You can make me a intelligence academics check. I'm trying to think of a good role for Max here to know this place, because you were turned in the 40s. You were born so you were probably born in the 20s?
Yes.
He was born in the darkness.
He was born in the darkness. What city were you born in? Where is Max from when he was mortal?
Max has been born and bred in New York. Of course, went overseas for the war, but has rarely left New York since. That's one of the reasons why he does not drive.
So yeah, give me an intelligence academics check, because the only way you may have heard of this is maybe in a passing newspaper of its grand opening in the 20s at some, maybe in the late 20s or 30s that your parents might have read and talked about.
Well, this will certainly just be an intelligence roll.
Absolutely, make me the roll. It'll be a difficulty of 3 if you want to punch one in.
Sure.
You rolled your max, and while you may not recognize the name of the hotel, as you look at it, you do recognize it does conjure an image of a large picture you saw in a newspaper that your dad was reading once, just on the front page. Don't recall what it the name of it, but this recalls that image, and a lot of its historical building and its historical construction has been well maintained over the years. It's still almost a building out of time amongst the modern buildings around it. Do you just when you see the man in the top hat? Obviously, the both of you are invisible. Do you walk through the front door? What does Max do?
The usual MO for Max will, of course, given his appearance and the difficulty of explaining it.
Yes.
Anyone catches a glimpse of him unwrapped up, it's an instant masquerade breach. 100%. And although he is right, he always has the double layer of being wrapped up even when obfuscated. So I think the usual MO of Adelaide being carried on his back and Max Jr. on his shoulder. He's just going to wait for the door to open and then slip in past.
Yep, and slip in. I don't even need to make you a roll, as the hotel is relatively busy, and there's plenty of time when the door opens, or even one of those rotating doors at the very front offer an opportunity for the both of you to approach and enter the building. And as you approach and enter it, the city's cacophony just fades away behind you. The only sounds are the distant rumbles now of passing a bus or the rhythmic clip-clop of horse-drawn carriages emerging from like a nearby alleyway, carrying people who like to pay money to be very fancy in a modern day. You know, those people who ride those little romantic horse things down streets and stuff in cities. But a closer listen reveals something else. A faint, almost imperceptible murmur that seems to emanate from the very bricks and mortar themselves. Wits awareness. Well, 5 successes. Goddamn, you rolled a success on every single dice you rolled there.
Okay.
Beautifully done. That imperceptible murmur that seems to be coming out of the bricks and the mortar of the building its very self. You seem to hear a whisper. Is it distant laughter? No. Maybe a mournful sigh or a sorrowful wail. And then for a brief moment you think you hear Vera and Robert. But it's only for a brief moment. And just as you seem to pick up on it,
You've become my number one enemy.
it vanishes. As you step into the Blackstone and take center into the Blackstone Hotel, you see an elegant monument to a bygone era. Adelaide reflexively breathes. Old wood, polished marble, and rich worn leather that speaks of the building's age and its own very history.
Very softly to Adelaide on his back, Max will say,
Okay, kid, remember what I said about keeping your head on a swivel? Yeah, well, we got spooky shit incoming.
What do you mean? It's beautiful in here.
Just on the way in, there was something, I don't know, something I didn't like. Like I said, keep your wits about you, keep your eyes peeled.
You can just feel her give you a tap on the shoulder of like, okay, you know, something to say silent, something that you would recognize after having her around for so long. And as you step into like what I would consider the large lobby area that has velveted seats and cushions inviting you to sit down in them and relax and kick your feet up, a small concierge table and a few other employees wandering around helping other people check in, check out, carrying luggage and so on. Where do you head to, Max?
Now, has Max been briefed at all on where our quarters might be?
No, that's what Vera was heading here for, to kind of like figure out where everything was. But the hotel's big and she could be anywhere.
I don't like this. Looks like we're gonna do some old-fashioned snooping, huh, kid?
She leans in, you just hear her say, if we have to, yeah.
And essentially, Max begins sort of like a methodical search of first the public areas, and then we'll be going behind the scenes, as it were.
Absolutely. So as you wander around this first floor, again, the big welcoming lobby is pretty easy to walk around. And on your right-hand side, you see 2 large double doors with golden handles and the emblem of the hotel itself emblazoned on the glass windows that sits at the center of each one. And if you were to look in, which I'm sure you do, you see chandeliers hanging from the top and an unused ballroom waiting to be rented and used for some event. And then beyond that, on this first floor, beyond bathrooms, of course, there's not much. A bar and a restaurant of some sort that belongs to the hotel's property. But then you have elevators and you have stairs that lead upward. Where would Max go from here?
Probably stairs, and of course using Soaring Leap to just leap up level to level.
Is Max going through each floor one at a time? Like gets to the first floor, walks the hall?
Yep, walks the halls, looks around.
Sees if anything's weird or out of place.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't until, as you make your way up, one floor at a time, not taking a ton of time, it's not like you're going to each individual guest room to make sure there's nothing weird going on. When you make your way up the stairs, by the time you reach the 13th floor, you actually notice that instead of a floor that has like a door, like welcome, kind of a door for guests, instead it just says employees only. And it's one of those standard like aluminum doors with a small slitted window that is locked.
And this place actually has a 13th floor, huh?
I guess. Is that weird?
Well, people are funny, right? Superstitious. Nobody wants to stay on the 13th floor, so hotels started going from floor 12 to 14.
She looks at the door and she says, it looks like it's employees only, so maybe it's like, I don't know, maintenance or something.
Yeah. Well, we live here now, so I figure that's for us.
You have a point. And you hear her step back from the door. I imagine you're going to walk over to it and just give it like a tug, a really hard tug.
I might try to be somewhat surreptitious, and I do have lockpicks. And I've got larceny and my
Dexterity.
Yes.
Dex larceny with the plus with one extra dice for the lockpick.
Cool.
Jason, can you roll me a wits awareness, please?
Yes, I can.
Fantastic. All failures.
And I still failed. I was terrible.
For Max, as you walk over, you just drop down to a knee, and it's a pretty simple lock, or at least simple for somebody who has as much experience as you do. And within a few moments, you can hear the audible click of the tumbler, and eventually the door does unlock rather noticeably.
Yeah, well, like I said, we live here now, so no need to smash up the joint, right?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were just going to punch it open or something.
Yeah, well, you don't shit where you eat, right, kid?
Sure. Yeah. Exactly. I don't know what that means, but yeah.
It means what it sounds like. It's good advice.
Yeah, but that seems obvious. I don't understand why. What do you mean? I don't.
Yeah, it does seem obvious, but you'd be surprised by how many people can't get it through the thick skulls.
She nods. You don't see it, but you can sense it. And as you click to the door's little handle and swing it open, and you take a step in, what you actually see might surprise you. It is not a hall of maintenance closets and storage or laundry machines where laundry gets done. Instead, what you're greeted with is another row of seemingly regular rentable room doors.
Employees only, huh?
You can very well tell that much like similar to most hotels or some hotels, the rooms at the ends have a bit more space to them, though not a ton more, but are likely where the slightly better rooms with a king size bed might be instead of a queen size kind of thing. But yeah, you're greeted with a red carpet, well-maintained, beautiful wooden walls, and doors that are just like the doors you've passed on every other floor.
Well, considering this is the one floor that nobody's supposed to go to, I figure this is where we get a little more methodical in the search, huh?
First room, do you just decide time to pop in, take a look?
Yep.
Which one, left or right?
Let's go left.
As you move over to the left room and you go to press down on the handle, it is much like any other room would be. Locked. You move down and give me another Dex larceny check. And as you do, you may also then make me a wits awareness check.
And these are actual locks, not key cards, right?
These are actual locks.
Okay, cool.
I guess that would be the difference actually between these doors is that there's actual locks and not key cards like the rest of them. You crit it again. Beautiful. So you pop it open with very little effort. And as the door swings open and you step into a very luxurious room with beautiful art pieces hung on the walls, an old mirror hung over by the bed, what you realize is this is indeed a room for rental. But unlike the rest, there's little things that make it obvious that it is very specifically meant for kindred. First and foremost, the windows themselves are entirely blacked out, allowing no sunlight in whatsoever. And perhaps in a cliche way, the bed is actually a coffin, luxuriously lined with pillows and a beautiful mattress. And maybe you head over and take to examine it, and you very quickly realize that it's no secret that this isn't any coffin. There's actually a sensor on the side. Should any sunlight hit the coffin, it immediately snaps shut and locks, keeping the kindred inside safe. As you explore further, you see there's actually a small little menu with 3 choices of different kinds of mortals to drink from on the night if you need a drink.
Interesting. Well, looks like some pretty fancy digs. Wonder if this is where they're setting us up.
Duke didn't set all this up. Did we take this from somebody else?
Could be. Maybe this is where the vampires hang their hats,
Yeah. Weird. I don't know. Is this good? I don't know if this
I don't know if anybody'd call it good, kid, but I don't think we're going to be the first kindred to be staying here, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, well, I'm curious what Veer thinks. Should we just keep looking?
I guess so. You didn't hear nothing on the way in?
She goes, no.
It's weird. It ain't like I'm the most in tune with that kind of thing, but I could have sworn I heard Vera talking, and maybe Duke, too. And there was something else. Something weird.
Huh. Okay, I'll keep listening, but yeah, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I think so.
And as he hums and grunts, As you step out of the room, another wits awareness, please. 3. As you step out of the room and you look to your left, what you see doesn't, I wouldn't say surprises you. We'll see what you dictate how it's, Max reacts. But as you look to your left, you actually see stepping out of a room, about 3 rooms down on your right-hand side, Robert. He actually looks confused for a moment. And Robert, our camera moves from Max quickly across the hallway as the doors on our left and right blur by, and we center over the shoulder of Robert. As you stepped out, you stepped into a hallway that did not match the one you were standing in initially. It was from it's seemingly a time further in the past, and there were sounds that were difficult to make out, but it almost sounded like construction in the distance. But just as Vera said your name and turned her head, she and Sean vanished. And now you see Max back in the hallway where you started.
Hello.
Hey there, Robert. What's the rumpus?
Well, I thought Vera was next to me and she poofed out.
Well,
I didn't know she had invisibility.
Poofed out? That doesn't sound like anything that you've ever seen her do. What's going on?
Robert, as you go to answer, can you make me a resolve composure check? And they're two of the stat abilities up top.
Here we go.
2. As you go to answer, all of a sudden you hear voices behind you, not of Max or Adelaide, who of course is standing in front of you, but you think of Vera and Sean. And as you turn around, you actually see them, Vera and Sean, confused as they've lost you. You hear them ask where Robert is, and then they begin to walk away.
Actually, I look at my hand and I see if it starts to disappear. Like, what is happening?
It does not disappear. It does not disappear whatsoever.
Okay. I've been around long enough to know that when someone looks at their hand like that, they're tripping balls. What's going on?
Just making sure I'm not in some sort of Back to the Future type situation.
What? I haven't seen that movie. What does he mean?
I hear Vera's voice, but I see her not. But yet I'm assuming you do not hear. They're looking for me, apparently. Do you hear them?
I thought I did on the way in downstairs, but, well, maybe go back to the beginning. What exactly happened when you guys got here?
Nothing out of the ordinary, just checking out our rooms and checking out other rooms in the... Oh, goodness. I think I stepped through some sort of portal. Ah, the mirror! Smeared blood!
What do you... Okay, slow things down there, Robert. When was the last time that you laid eyes on Vera?
Moments ago, my friend. Moments ago.
What, and she was in that room you just came out of?
Correct.
Huh.
Max will walk into the room.
As you walk in, it's very similar to the other rooms, with the exception, it was very similar to the room you were just in, with one major exception. There is no automatic sensor on this coffin. It is just a coffin that the lid does close, and it is sunproof lid should it be, but there is no automatic sensor to automatically snap the lid shut. Something that you may have picked up as you walk by. And as you walk over to the mirror at the very top, you actually do notice dried blood at the very top, maybe about 2 inches of it. And that poses an interesting question to you and probably Robert if he notices now as well. Most times, kindred vitae ashes very, very quickly if it's not imbibed or being used in a ritual of some sort. Vera's blood should have turned to ash by now, but instead it is caked and dried and cracked, but it is still visible.
What on earth is happening here?
Yeah, well, I don't really know, Robert, but like I say, spooky shit. Huh.
Indeed.
Well, this don't check out at all. So, okay, pretty clear that this place is some kind of Motel 6 for vamps, right?
It would appear so. I thought we were moving in, but now I'm not quite so sure. I want to. I would at least like a Super 8. Motel 6,
Well, I mean,
2 numbers down.
Yeah, exactly. Eight's two better. Okay, look. Break it down for me. Exactly what happened. You were with Vera and Sean, yeah?
Correct.
Yeah, where's Duke and all, where was Duke in all of this?
He wasn't with you. He was taking care of, he was off signing all the official paperwork to basically own the hotel.
Right. Duke was off signing autographs, getting the paperwork ready for this place, which is supposed to be ours.
You had a bellhop by the name of Virgil, gave you guys a tour of the hotel. The basement room, remember the basement was that old brick room with like a luxurious bed where it was clearly meant for the owners of the hotel. And then he brought you up to the 13th floor, and then Virus like kind of took it from there. You guys kind of walked around and did it on your own after that.
Yes.
Huh, interesting. I wonder if any of this has anything to do with what happened to me earlier this evening.
What happened to you?
Well, you remember Gustav's old pals that I might have told you about?
Ah, yes. The painting, right? Where I confused and thought it was you?
Yeah, that's Gustav. Then true friend of his, Lady Adriana Sinclair, decided that she would pay a visit to a friend of mine while I was visiting. I don't know if she knew I was there or not, but she's got some kind of pitch. She's trying to say that she ain't on the same side as them other mooks. Maybe she's telling the truth, maybe she's baiting the trap. And maybe this has something to do with it, or maybe not. Hard to say.
Well, then sooner or later we'll find out whether she's Ven true or Ven false.
I like what you did there. All right. I think number one, we got to find Vera and Sean. So they were in this room, you say, and then you turned around and they was gone?
That's right, but I examined the room to see if I remember it to be the same, or am I in a different room or in a different time?
Nope. As you look around, it is absolutely the same room. It was when you stepped out of this room into the hallway that everything looked different. And then in a moment, you were back into modern day. It's almost like you got a glimpse of the past, but Vera and Sean did not come back from that glimpse. They were there, or they got left there.
Max points to the blood above the mirror. It's like,
And Vera did this, you say?
Did Vera do that? Yes. Or did she? Okay, yes.
You watched her cut her thumb, and she drew some blood over it. You don't know why she did it.
Huh.
She actually just kind of did it because I don't know. It was actually on a whim with her.
Well,
She just figured, give it a try.
And now the blood remains.
well, if it was Duke or even Sean who did this, it might have been some kind of, I don't know, hoodoo, voodoo, blood magic. But Vera doesn't do that as far as I know. So what the hell? I played enough Dungeons and Dragons to know how this goes.
as Max will just like bite, basically stick his canine through.
As you go and bite it and pierce your flesh, you actually feel Adelaide grab your arm to like stop you right beforehand. She's like, "Are you sure this is what we want to do?"
I ain't sure about nothing, kid, but this seems like the best way to maybe see if we can find Vera. Otherwise, we're just standing around with our thumbs up our asses.
Okay, yeah, you know what's best. She lets go. You bite, and you walk over.
Yeah.
Robert, are you like also relatively close? Like, what's Robert doing when you watch him do what Vera did?
In the general vicinity.
She takes a step back, and as you do so, you smear directly over Vera's, or do you do it? Like, I'm just curious visually what we're looking at as you do it.
Let's try, I don't know, just below Vera's, so it's like a little closer to the mirror.
Max, do you know what you're doing?
I got no freaking clue, friend. But, you know, sometimes the easiest way is to step on that pressure plate. Another little Dungeons and Dragons reference for you is there.
Right. Waiting room.
And as you smear the blood across the mirror with Robert nearby, you pull your thumb back and you look around. And this is very deja vu for you, Robert. Nothing's changed. There is Adelaide there, but it wasn't until you stepped out of the room that things got different. So as you look around, Max, nothing's changed.
Okay. I say we stick together. I ain't gonna be so bold as to suggest we all hold hands or nothing, but let's see how this goes.
Adelaide plops down. She's like, "I'm going to stay here."
I'm not so sure about that. I think you should come with us.
But what if somebody comes into the mirror? I'm not saying somebody's gonna, but I feel like someone should watch this thing in case you actually do disappear on me.
Okay, kid.
He takes Max Jr. off his shoulder.
Okay, Max Jr., you watch Adelaide. Adelaide, you watch Max Jr.
You plop him down, and he immediately rubs all over Adelaide and purring away. You walk over to the, it was Vera did about I think she did a hunger's dot worth of blood smear if you want to knock a hunger down.
Okay.
And you walk over to the door?
Max will be, because he never likes to get hungry. So as soon as he does that, he then drinks the last congealed blood bag that he's got in his coat.
And as you open the front door, you see a hallway that is very familiar. Who steps out first, Robert or Max?
Who stepped out first last time? Was it you or Vera?
Vera did.
You want to try going first this time, or should we do it like it happened last time?
Well, I'll try it. I'll try it.
Robert gets up, and as he walks by, and our vision tails Robert. As he approaches the door, ours stops just before the door's frame. And as you see Robert step through, so too does the image of him vanish.
Shit.
I vanished.
Yeah, he does not hear you. Yeah, you don't hear that. You don't hear him going, I went invisible. No, he literally just goes, gone. Adelaide jumps up. Holy shit.
Okay, kid, I'm gonna walk through that door, and there's every chance I'm gonna pop out of existence like he did, so...
You just put blood on it, and that's all. And then what? You have a freaking...
Well, I don't know, because...
hot tub time machine?
He didn't even put no blood on it, I did, so...
Right, oh, that's even worse. That seems dangerous.
Yeah, but... if Vera needs help, I gotta go,
Fuck, okay. Just promise me you're gonna try and come back.
Of course I am. Now you all up in here. You got your gun, right?
She actually flashes like it's tucked into her, like the waist of her pants.
And keep in mind, you got better than a gun, too. You got Max Jr. here.
Right. I also have... And she looks down at her own fists.
Yeah, that's right. You remember those things I showed you.
She swallows visibly hard.
If it's human, a kick to the crotch is gonna do a lot.
She laughs at that. Okay, just be safe and I'll be here.
All right. Take care, kid.
And Max steps through.
I'll be back soon. Ah, shit, I shouldn't have said that.
You also vanish from Adelaide's vision and our own. And in a white flash, we, as a viewer or a listener, are transported alongside Max and Robert. As our vision comes to and your eyes, both of your eyes, have to refocus, and it's almost a high-pitched ringing in your ears that seems to linger just a little bit. You look around and you realize while you are certainly within the Blackstone Hotel, you are not when you were. Moreover, Robert, this is not the same looking hall that you walked into with Vera. It's very easy for you both to tell what area you're in as you look at the carpet that had been replaced. Clearly it's been replaced over time. And the wooden walls that look a lot newer now than they did then. It's the 60s.
Well, free love and all that.
Are you freaking kidding me?
This is the hotel we're supposed to own, correct?
I thought that was how it was going to work. It's a little above my pay grade.
Are there some sort of, lemon rules or givebacks? Because I feel like we've been gifted a cursed hotel.
Well, you never know. Might be a feature, not a bug, right?
Well, if it's a feature, we haven't learned how to use it properly yet, or at least successfully, so I'll consider it a bug until further notice.
Well, we might just be doing the equivalent of tripping on mushrooms right now. Who's to say this is even real, right?
That's true.
As Robert holds his hands out and double checks to make sure that they are visible. They are solid and visible. Where do you go? You hear the bustle of commotion downstairs. Out of curiosity, and as you look around, as you look to the room that you just came out of, the door is shut.
Okay. I say this is how we play it. I lived through the 60s already, as I'm sure you have, and I didn't fit in any better there than I do in the modern day, so I'm gonna take a powder. I'll be at your shoulder if you need me, huh?
Too bad we're not in your native of New York. We could go to the stock exchange and invest in some companies that are big now and go back to our own time and be gazillionaires.
Hey, maybe you have forgotten the lesson of Back to the Future and its sequel, Back to the Future Part 2.
What? Biff was fine. He owned a casino.
So my question is, do you check out any of the rooms on this floor now, or do you head out and head either on a different floor, or remember there's the basement as well?
Might as well see if in the 1960s this was housing vamps too. So that's the door that we just came out of. Let's see if it's the same kind of setup.
Do you open the one that you came through, or do you open a different one?
I think the one we came through.
So you turn around, and as you open the door, the first thing you will notice as you open the hotel room door is that the mirror is still very much the same mirror. It's got the brass ornate outline that is full body sized and holds up against the left hand wall. But as you walk in, you do see similar things. Blackout curtains, heavy, that go down to the floor, that have velvet curtains that block out the sun entirely. You have the bed is king size with plush mattresses and pristine white linens in the side of a large coffin. And you have a refreshment cabinet this time around. No menu for anybody, but a minibar of sorts that holds a vintage style dark wood cabinet. Inside, there's an array of miniature liquor bottles, but instead it holds an assortment of chilled blood bags, tastefully labeled and discreetly hidden behind opaque paneling. An older kindred might you own this room, or might be a regular of this room, or it looks like you can rather order your own specific blood type that you're looking for. So older kindred who only can feed off of a very particular type of mortal or something could order blood bags of that type here. But yeah, you pop it open and you see right sitting in there 4 different blood bags with different names, age, sexes, and careers that the blood comes from of these people. But yes, immediately you realize 100% it is still a room for kindred. And you see some nice 1960s touches. The carpet is a faded floral pattern that's stylish nowadays. You see a framed print of unremarkable landscape art that's just hanging on the wall. Just like stuff that's just things you haven't seen in decades.
Is there a TV?
There is a TV.
I'm gonna turn it on and turn it to the news.
Absolutely. So you pop on the TV and you start flicking over to the news. It's almost like that muscle memory of how to use old TVs and remotes starts immediately coming back. And you very much realize now exactly when you are, as it's talking about the breaking news of yesterday when President John F. Kennedy had been shot in Dallas, Texas.
Well, at least we know we're not here to prevent that.
Well, do we?
Well, if we did, then we got here a little too late. Okay, so 63, huh?
This could be a 12 Monkeys situation. Sorry, I keep bringing up time-traveling movies, but it's just too much fun.
I've watched a lot of time-traveling movies. It's all right.
Meaning, like, what I mean is maybe we were here to stop the Kennedy assassination, but we did something wrong, so we arrived too late.
You head out and out of the room and make your way to the main hall and stairs, or what else?
Before they leave, Max goes,
I ain't a picky eater like whoever's staying here, but waste not, want not.
as he takes all 4 blood bags and
I had a feeling.
Stuffs them.
Yeah, I had a feeling. You just grab a bunch of blood bags and you step out of the room. You make your way to the main stairwell again, I imagine. And do you head down the stairs? There's a few floors still that go up. If you want to confirm that they are simply hotel rooms, that you would very quickly confirm the rest of the floors are as you would expect in a hotel of this size. It's only the 13th floor that seems to be a little different. That is cordoned off as employees only, even in the 60s.
Yeah. Well, let's see what the ground floor looks like, huh?
You make your way to the ground floor, and as you make your way through, back onto the lobby, you see a sea of 1960s, not only Art Deco patterns on the floor, and the grand crystal chandeliers seem to wink a welcome to people as they swing into that 1960s vibe, but bellhops all over with those snazzy pillbox hats, zipped up by pushing the gleaming luggage carts behind them, while women in shift dresses and men in sharkskin suits hurry toward the lobby bar, grabbing drinks and so on. It's got, again, a vibe of an era you have not been immersed in decades. You know very particularly, Robert, though, that if you continue moving your way down past all of this, that's where the domain of the kindred who owns this place was built. You saw it in modern day. But it was, even then, if you remember correctly, it was described as much older than it seemed the rest of the building was. Do you head down there? Do you suggest heading down there, Robert? Or do you...
Yes, let's head down there.
Do you tell Max about it ahead of time? Or do you just like say, hey, let's go to the basement and don't tell him at all?
Oh, no, I share it with him on our way down.
Yeah, and what he describes is a large, old stone hallway with an old but very heavily reinforced door that leads to a luxurious quarter with no windows to the outside world for sun, a beautiful red curtain that covers a large rest area for many a kindred, and a painting of a gorgeous landscape, but a figure that seemed to be impossible to focus on. Always their eyes were always unable to focus on it. And as you make your way down the stairs, the very same description matches exactly. And Robert, as you walk in, it truly seems like these halls have not changed at all since you saw them technically decades in the future from now. The hallway is about 50 feet long before on the left-hand side that reinforced iron door sits with a old but large lock and keyhole sat there in the center, on the left-hand side rather.
Perhaps these hallways somehow stay suspended in time, because it looks to be exactly the same from 50 years in the future.
Yeah. Hold on, I want to try something.
Max will find an area of the wall that's maybe behind a painting or something like that. And
yeah, do you want to open the door to get into the room with the painting and everything? Because you're at the locked door that leads into that room. You're just in a regular long hallway right now.
Oh, okay. Well, what I specifically wanted to do was find a place that I think won't be disturbed. And with, he pops a claw and just like draws a little, Kilroy was here guy, like the guy with the long nose looking over a wall. It's like,
yeah, we'll see if that's still here when I get back.
Good idea.
Yeah, I love that. Can you make me a Dex larceny check if you want to pick the lock in the door? Beautiful. You pop the lock with very little effort, and the iron door swings open inward. There is no creaking, no cliche horror noises. It just opens quietly and leads into a much larger chamber where, as I described before, the large curtains that give way to a large rest area, the painting that Robert described with a figure that is... Well, wait a minute, there is no figure there. And as you both, maybe Robert looks over and realizes it as well, in that moment, you realize you're also not alone. As you hear a voice, maybe 5 to 10 feet ahead of you into the room. And as you both look upward, this individual wasn't standing there a moment ago, but now he is, facing just off-center to you, seemingly talking to somebody that is not there. An average height man with a gray beard and wild gray hair slicked back, worn in rather nice attire with a loose-fitting tie and unbuttoned couple of top buttons. And he is speaking curiously to somebody, like I said, that's not there. And even before you're able to realize or even ask anything, you see him actually walk around a corner into the room. There are 2 of them. But this one isn't talking to anybody. He's actually looking at one of the walls blankly, almost as though something is there, but you see nothing. And in a moment, his head snaps to the side, and his body jerks back 5 feet. But he also left a version of himself still looking at the wall. Now there's 3. And that third one seems to turn to the 2 of you and recognize and notice you. You hear whispers and voices echoing in the chamber around you. Who are they? Why are they here? They own this. No, never. It's mine. All his voice, all different tones of emotion. But the one in front of you doesn't say a word. He just looks at you, curiously. And you hear the one that was on your left, talking to the invisible person, say the name, Vera.
Hey, fella, what's the rumpus?
And with that, we fade to black.
That damn cameraman! Faded to black right when we were going to find something out!
And we'll be back next week, as our coterie is in the same room, but across different times. We'll see you next week, everybody. Goodbye.